money is like the water and your sales. And wherever that toes is kinked up, that's like a function of the business. We need to unkink it to get that money flowing again.
In today's episode, we are going to reveal secrets of growing your gym business through an often overlooked strategy, the power of consistent and effective follow-up system. Welcome to Top Rated Gym Podcast, the podcast that helps ambitious gym owners build profitable and sustainable fitness businesses. I'm your host, Andres Vjovic, and with every episode, we deliver actionable insights, expert advice, and success stories to help you grow your membership, streamline your operations, and achieve financial stability, even if you struggle with marketing challenges, operational overwhelm, or financial limitations in the past. Today, on the Top Rated Gym Podcast, we have a privilege of speaking with Dustin Bogle, who is the CEO of Gym Reinforcement. Dustin brings a wealth of experience in the fitness industry, guys. Having transitioned from owning multiple gyms in Southern California to building a business that now focuses to help gym owners scale through specialized remote sales teams. With a background that includes being a pro wrestler, Dustin combines his passion for marketing and sales with a unique leadership style. Get ready for some actionable insights, guys, as Dustin dives into fortune follow-up systems and share valuable tips on growing your fitness business by focusing on effective follow-up strategies. Dustin, so happy to have you on the show. Welcome.
I'm so excited, Andre. Thanks for having me. And I'm just here to add value, man. So let's help these guys out. Let's help them with their gyms.
Let's do it. Listen, the world of sales is incredibly wide. Many people overlook it, right? And I want to, before we dive into it, I want a little bit from your background. Like, your career path is fascinating, right? You were in the trenches. You own the business. You are now having passion of what you know to share with others. Could you walk us through the journey and from being a pro wrestler to becoming a CEO of Gym Reinforcement? What were some big lessons you acquired along the way?
Yeah, I like to go back to my fitness journey because it ties to my pro wrestling journey, which ties to my business journey to open gyms. And so, it started back in high school, where there's a lot of that, like, learning about yourself, your identity. And I was an overweight kid. I was like 260, probably had 50 pounds more fat than I should have. And I had really low confidence. I did not want to talk to ladies. I didn't really think high about myself. I was very introverted. And I didn't really know where I was going to go in life. But it all changed when a buddy who sat behind me and ended up becoming one of my best friends in life tapped me on the back. And he was a really yoked dude. And I think he could see that I just kept to myself. I was shy, and he probably could see I was overweight too. So he's like, "Hey man, just wanted to invite you. I'm going to go to the gym after school. I go every day. You want to come with me and get a lift?" And I had no idea how much impact that small little invite would do to my life. And so that was like my entry point to fitness. I got hooked, went and did chest, got a nice little pump. I felt amazing. And it wasn't even really about losing fat. I was just more focused on building muscle. But as we know, like, a byproduct was I started losing fat. I started getting leaner. Then I started talking to myself a lot better. My confidence started to rise. And I think that again is like the invite we all as gym owners are doing on our marketing. We are digitally tapping people on the shoulder and say, "Come check out this positive place. Maybe it'll do some good for you." And we do not know how we are literally creating a fork in the road in people's lives when we get them into those fitness sanctuaries. So that's, where I got into fitness. I kind of like joke and say that's me getting bitten by the iron bug, getting addicted to lifting the weights.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And it's such a life transforming story, because we know how many kids today are suffering on emotional distress, of depression, of anxiety, of, not knowing. And I know, how well and important is fitness, especially the body relations, community, connection, but also chemistry change that happens, right? That's why we are all in this business. That's why we are talking today, because we know we empower people who empower people to change their lives. It's a chain reaction.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And if that gym owner knew how much impact have by having that facility, by having your friend as a member there, he would say, "Oh my God, thank you for this spark in my tough days, understanding how much I'm changing people's life.
Yes.
Right? It's not only about money, or it's about passion, about mission that we live. And you're a pure example of that.
Yeah. And so it's funny. I found out what his motivation to go to the gym is. He wanted to be a pro wrestler. He had this crazy dream. He grew up watching Hulk Hogan. I watched it like casually, but I never was really that diehard of a fan. But like his passion for it was infectious, and he pulled me into that world. And I wanted to do it with him. I was like, let's go, man, because we were the same age. I'm like, I'll go to wrestling school with you. I want to learn this. And so we did. We went to wrestling school. We started touring around the country, into Canada, Mexico. I even got to wrestle some of my heroes from the 80s wrestling era, which was pretty cool. And, I spent a good 10 to 12 years doing it. And that was where, I was putting like a deadline on myself. I said, if I don't have a big contract, from Vince McMahon or some big company, by 28 was I gave myself, because I started at 18. I'm like, if I don't have one in 10 years, I'm walking away, because that's what you hear, the whole 10 years, to achieve excellence. But, the longer I stayed in the world, I just started to feel more friction. Like it's a late night show, you get home at 2-3 in the morning, and I'm a morning guy. A lot of these guys are doing drugs and steroids, and I'm like, I wanted to be straight edge. So the more and more I was in the world, I was just like, I actually don't think I'm the right person to do this. I love it, but the sacrifice to become, very successful in it, I wasn't willing to pay that price. So I went back to what got me into the world, which was fitness. The reason I got fit was so I look good in the ring, and I'm looking good in my spandex, and I wanted to be in shape. So I'm like, you know what? This industry is about me trying to win the belt and making me the champion, and it's a very me driven thing. I want to put the championship belt on other people. I want to make them feel like $1 million. And that's when I knew what my calling is to be a coach, is to help other people and to put them up on the spotlight. And so that's when I decided I'm going to take the risk at that age of 28. I'm going to go open my first gym. And that's how I kind of got, the kickstart into business. Wow. That's the background of that.
And you see that desire exceeded even your gym. It was like, okay, I'm limited here. I own multiple locations, but hear me out. There's a lot of people in this world who could do better. So you always kind of did help yourself first and help yourself in a second category. You help yourself being a gym owners, build a gym business. I was like, okay, how can I help more of these people as well? And that's where the business strategy coaching came along.
Yes.
Yeah. That's impressive, brother. There's something that Tony Robbins talks about, 6 human needs, right? Yes, there's significance as a driver for a lot of people who say me, but there's last 2 values like growth and contribution. They're really, really connected with the people who are more on a giving side.
Yeah. And you see that in fitness for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I enjoyed it. I did good at it. It was the heyday of the early Facebook, 2011, 2012. I'm just printing money from Facebook ads. People are just walking in left and right. They're joining my 30-day, my 6-week challenges. I slammed this gym because I went and learned Facebook ads. And so I'm like, okay, honey, recently married. We're going to take the money from what we're making here at number 1, and we're going to go open number 2, and I'm going to duplicate this thing and make an amazing life for us and help a lot of people.
Yep.
And so I went on to open 6 locations in 6 years, which is pretty aggressive for most gym owners. and I do say there was a lot of systems and things that went into it, but one of them was definitely learning the skill of marketing and sales and multiplying that over multiple locations. So it's like, then it's tested. If I did it in 6 different markets, I feel like I'm good at it. Yeah. And then the impact grows. And now I'm helping people in 6 communities, and I'm also giving jobs to 6 teams, this feels good. Yeah. And so that's when, as you can see, I'm very impact driven. The decision was like, how could I only have so much capital. I can only grow a certain pace. How could I go even bigger? And it's like, well, I could just plug in my marketing engine to the gyms of the world, and then I can help everybody out. Now we can talk about impacting hundreds of thousands, millions of people, because all these owners are very good at what they do. They just struggle at this one place, and if they can just unlock that door, like, man, they can really impact a lot of lives in their community. So that's when we launched Gym Reinforcements in 2020. But again, I like to share the backstory so I'm not someone who just learned meta ads and then decided to help gym owners. I got the background of I've ran gyms and I've run multiple locations, and I was a trainer for 7 years before I even opened my first one. So there's like 20 years.
You have a whole cycle.
Yeah.
You were a member whose life has changed.
Yes.
And that experience, almost like if you didn't have a bad experience, you wouldn't be today where you are. If you didn't have that overweight, depression, moment of anxiety, and moment of sadness, and that trigger of sparks, let's say, hey, let's go to gym, do some lift ups. Nothing would happen. So, everything has its own reasons why things are happening. And that reason is the reason why today you are where you are, and people that you are helping are fortunate with your touch. And we don't know what tomorrow is, right? How far this can go. But this is just the beginning.
So I came locked and loaded because I don't want to keep my best secrets behind a paywall and say you only get these things if you work with me. I wanted to come and just hey guys, whether you work with me or you're just maybe starting a new gym, you don't got a lot of money, I want to give you my Fortune follow-up system to help you get more members. And we want to jump into that now, Andre?
I do. That's my next question. So you see, sales, leads, marketing, retention, all of that is important part. And I always say it's all connected. It's like a little chain, links in a chain. If one is disconnected, chain does not move. You cannot be 90% good in marketing. You got to be 100%. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And many people overlook or their lack of knowledge, understanding, and reason behind follow-up. So I'm so glad that we are picking on this topic and digging deep into it. So first, why do you believe, talking about follow-up is more important than generating leads, right? Why follow-up?
Yeah, I can just say it's because I have so many reps in doing it. And that when I would observe, because, when you're just in your own world, you just might assume everyone does it the way you do. And then upon getting immersion and getting around them, you're like, oh, I didn't know what I did was super secret, because now that I'm spending time with other people, they're all not doing it. And how you identify this gap. So to me, it was just I'm thinking about trying to just grow my business and what naturally comes to me. I don't think I was trained in any specific way. But then you start learning from experts and you're like, they're all saying the same thing. Obviously, we all have this intuition, and that's just gifts. Some people have natural gifts they're given. Things come really easily to them. It naturally goes with their personality and their skill set. And other people, that never would cross their mind. They would never do this. And that's just not their gift. And so there's no, saying one person's better than the other. We all have special gifts in one way or another, right? So the reason I love talking about follow-up is I think it's the most forgotten function within business. Like you said, you describe it as a chain. I actually use a hose analogy, because I say your money is like the water in your sales, and wherever that hose is kinked up, that's a function of the business. We need to unkink it to get that money flowing again, right? So the functions go lead gen, marketing, let's get the leads. Then it's lead nurture. I find that's where the kink is. Then we transact into a sale, and then we now fulfill, and then we upsell and retain. And that's the water flowing through those functions of that hose. I like talking about this because I find it's where the biggest kink is in most businesses. And that's where the biggest benefit is to the business when they unkink that area of the hose. It's all around lead nurture and just getting that function to work best, right? It's really sexy to chase more leads. Yeah. But if this is broken, they'll never make their way over to the sale. It's part of the process.
Let's dig deep into this. Let's go into really strategy behind it, because people are thinking now, AI is taking over. Automation can do my follow-up. I can outsource this, or I can do it in-house. There's so many ways to label follow-up.
Yep.
But there's such a little time to experiment which one is the right way.
Yes. Yeah.
And so easy to be disappointed in the process.
Yep.
So walk us through the process.
Yeah. And on that, I think every owner has to decide what they want their brand identity to be. If you do attract more tech savvy, let's say you're in a tech savvy city, a tech friendly place, there's a lot of tech companies. They'll probably love being followed up with by AI and think it's super cool and think you're hip and you're up with the time, and they're going to want to work with you. And then there's other people who are going to not like it, because my gut is that the government is going to require people to identify that you're talking to an AI bot here pretty soon, and to say, hi, my name is James. just so you know, I'm an AI bot with XYZ Fitness. And, that's fine, but to what I see right now, the really good AI that sounds very natural is very expensive for a small business, and they don't tend to have enough lead flow. That's going to be like high volume sales that you need to process hundreds and thousands of leads monthly. Mm-hmm. I do still think at this time, it's better and wiser for them to keep it in-house. And that's not because we have remote sales reps. It's just like from what I'm seeing in the current landscape. Fast forward 2 years from now, AI might be remarkable and super affordable, and I'll completely change my tune. But I haven't seen one that I'm like over the moon about and I would trust with my small business,
I'm in agreement with you because I'm a big advocate for AI, about technology coming in and infusing. And I tried and I keep experimenting with AI tools. Yeah. And you can mimic really good conversation via text maybe, but phone call, holy smoke, far from being real. Because they require ideal scenario, and it's always 4 to 6 seconds delay, right? Yeah. That pisses people off because it goes from the voice to the text. ChatGPT renders it, comes back, transcribed to the voice, and talks. God forbid you interrupt it in the middle of the sentence and get confused. God forbid you have TV behind it, somebody's talking and so on. God forbid you change the speakers. So call down, let me give you my mom or my brother, my sister does not know the difference tonality, gender of the voice. AI in the voice perspective is far from being capable of understanding emotions, anger, frustration, unless it's in text mode.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it doesn't understand speed and pitch and tone and tonality. None of these, because when we communicate, we are in a world of 70% of communication is visual, 38% is auditory, 7% of text. When you talk to AI only sees 7% of text. Does not understand body language, does not understand tonality and every emotion that comes to it. So you're sacrificing. Yes, it can impress emotions, but it's a lot to learn. It's going to get there. I believe 100%.
Oh yeah.
But when you're talking to somebody who is challenged, let's say you're talking to yourself 20 years back when you had the challenges to sign up. You want to understand that person.
Yes.
So that's the reason why we are here to talking about human to human. And by the way, it's already there. You have people, in your business. Yeah. There's an asset on the ground who can help it out.
Yeah. I think if you have a very transactional business, an AI bot, like calling to sell coffee or supplements, go for it. But people are going to get very, like open and vulnerable. And that takes a lot of courage for them to do. And so for it to do it with AI, it also, in my opinion, is going to be very transactional conversation. Like, oh, now that I know I'm talking to an AI bot, what do you cost? What are your session times? And you lose the discovery portion of what we're supposed to do. So it'll get there. Like I just said, probably a year or two. I wouldn't say there's a really one that I got right now.
I agree. A lot of companies are working on it and so on. And people will adopt as well. Yeah. It's going to be AI-powered human conversation as well. Now, let's talk about mistakes. You found through last 2 decades of working with this, what are the mistakes gym owners make when it comes to training their sales teams or handling lead forms?
So I'll share, there's a 4-prong approach to the Fortune follow-up, and I'll share the mistake that made me develop it as one of those 4 pillars, if you will. Because, for example, most gym owners get very focused on new leads only, and then they don't think about all the other sales buckets that are available. So I'll start with new leads because that's the one probably everyone's anxious to hear. Like, how could I get new leads to buy from me? Yeah. Well, realize I think of it like an archer's target. The people who know you the most are going to buy from you the quickest. And as that expands, it's a slower sales cycle. So who knows you the most? Your members, right? They are going to buy. You put something for sale, they're going to buy it from you today. The trust factor is very high. Then it might be people who follow you on social media. Maybe they're a friend with a member. They're a referral. We're zooming it out a little. And we can keep going out all the way to a complete cold prospect who just opted in on your Facebook ad. Realize that the game is not to get them to buy quicker. The game is to get them to trust quicker, right? Because trust equals transactions is a phrase I say in my book. And then transactions equal transformation. So I need you to trust me. Then we can have a transaction, a purchase, and then I can now help you transform your life. So trust equals transactions equals transformation. So the mistake that a lot of gym owners make on this one is they have slow follow-up when they opt in, so they miss that like emotional peak. So slow follow-up. And then second, being too quick to ask for the sale. And kind of like we were talking about right now, AI, avoiding feeling transactional and like, this is the program, these are the details, this is the price, are you in? And just really spending a lot of time in the discovery phase. Like we have a rule in our company, no pitching without 7 discovery questions. And that makes it quantifiable, because if I say have enough, well, who defines enough, right? Like, so I like giving numbers, so it's very specific. So I'm like 7 discovery questions, which, you know, again, we outline for our team, but it's like basic one we all know. What's your fitness goal? What made you decide to reach out? Discovery number 1. What else have you tried, right? Discovery number 2. And so we continue on. But that means you got through the layers. We've all heard cut through the onion layers and get the emotion out. And then you go into the offer. So that's what I find are the top 2 issues here. It's like really slow lead follow-up, meaning sometimes they don't even get back to them same day. It's like the next day. And then the second mistake is being too quick to pitch. So this first pillar, I call it the 5x2. And so what this means is you reach out to a new lead 5 days in a row, twice a day, and you change your communication channel. So day 1 might be text. You opt in to me on Monday. Text goes out within 2 minutes. You get a text from me, and maybe 2 or 3 hours later, I'm calling you. I hit 2 communication channels, text and phone call. The next day, I'm going to text you again in the morning, but now maybe I email you. And then the third day, I go back to text and email, or text and phone call, and I just keep kind of alternating through these channels, because there are people who like to text. There are people who like to email, and they're living on their laptop all day. And then there's people that are talkers and they like to be on the phone. And the biggest issue I find is owners just stay in their comfort wheelhouse and they won't go the other channels. Well, you're leaving money on the table because you're trying to make everyone bend to your preferences, where you got to go to theirs. You know, like, heck, I'll come to your house and tell you about the program if you need me to, right?
That's right.
So that's
meet them where they are. Yeah.
New leads. Yeah. Like speed, channel rotation, and, just really getting after them with a high volume in that first week.
And I want to ask audience now, if you're watching this as a recording, what do you think is the average follow-up response time? Let's put a response time when somebody texts in. And it's shocking. I analyzed probably about 500 businesses or 400,000 messages to find the average response time. And it's shocking, brother. It's over 300 minutes.
And that's
so it's not even lead.
Respond to the lead, you're saying it's 300?
Not responded. Like I, as a customer, texted you as a business.
Okay.
And I waited 300 minutes to get a response on the text.
Wow. That's 5 hours.
That's 5 hours. And when you look into individual details, right? A lot of them, it's incredible. People chat back and forth. 5 p.m. clicks in. This guy goes home. I was like, hey, okay, I'm ready to sign up. Okay, can you send me information? Okay, hello, anybody home? Boom. 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. This guy continues. 15, 16 hours later, nobody's there anymore. It's a dead as a horse. Like that doesn't exist.
Yes. Yeah.
Because people don't understand why these different channels. Because you can buy yourself time on the email. It's so cool, right? Email response time is expected 24 hours. Like, okay, I'll catch up on email. Text is like now.
Yes, talk to me now.
Talk to me now. Phone call is now. That's why response time is also important. And if you ask energy owners what's your response time, they have no clue. No texting platform provide them that information. They don't know who's doing what and when. They have no clue. And we're not even talking about leads. Hot lead. What I always see is like, imagine a woman who just ate a big meal. She feels guilty. She goes in and she needs to freaking lose the weight. She goes on a Facebook. She just talked to her friends about losing weight. Facebook heard it and it popping up with your ad. She says, yes, I want that. I like this. Boom.
Yes.
3 hours later, 4 hours later, she's at home. You're calling her at that time and she's ashamed. She doesn't want her partner to know about her goals to lose the weight. It's interruption. It's a privacy invasion. 4 hours later, 4 hours before, when the lead was generated, would be perfect transaction, perfect conversation.
Yes.
4 hours later, it's whole invasion of my privacy, buddy.
Yep.
Same lead, same opportunity, different time, different personalities coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Response time. I'm glad that you agree because it's freaking, we live in a world where everything is either now or never.
Yes. So that's that first pillar is 10 reach outs, 5 by 2, 5 days, 2 reach outs a day. Channel rotation, rotate between text, phone calls, email, 7 discovery questions, before you ask for that sale. And then like speed to lead. Definitely have, if it's not an automated text, then you got to definitely text them as soon as you freaking can.
I like that 2 minutes right away. Yeah. And what's your favorite question out of 7 that you like to ask?
The one that I like is, have you ever worked with a trainer before? Is because it gives me an insight of what they've spent on their fitness problem. If they're like, no, I just had a gym membership, I got an app, I'm like, okay, you've spent small investment, I'm going to have to really build up my value. And they're like, yeah, I had a trainer when I lived in this state, now I moved to this state. Perfect. You're going to be a great client for me because you're already in that higher spending kind of mindset. You're going to probably be a laydown. You're just literally looking for the next trainer to work with. So I like that because it gives me an insight into their spending and what they're willing to invest in fitness. If I hear low number programs, I'm going to have to build myself up. If I heard high price programs, I'm very happy. And I know I got a good hot lead that I got to call ASAP.
Great moment. Yeah, because it's immediate assessment about how deep or how backwards you need to go in order to build a value. Love that. Cool. So let's continue back with your 4-pronged approach.
Yes. The second pillar is what I call database dynamite. So this is to all your old leads. That was your new leads that have opted in, say, the last 30 days. Well, what about the hundreds and thousands of leads since you opened the gym just sitting in a CRM collecting dust, right? So what I say is visually think of a stick of dynamite, right? We're going to stick a dynamite into that CRM and boom, explode some sales from there. And this database dynamite is essentially a drip campaign. I'm a big fan of Go High Level. If you guys use another texting platform, what you want is you just want every day a text message to be going out, working those leads and just asking questions, right? Like that's it. That's what is nurture? If you really boil it down, it's question asking. And the better quality of your questions, the more replies and the more calls that will get booked and appointments and sales. Put really crappy questions. The worst questions I see on lead nurture from a company is the biggest mistake I would say on this one is not ending it in a question mark, like just sending statements, So if it's like 28-day program begins next Monday, click here to sign up. Terrible lead nurture text, right? Or, special offer, reply, interested, we'll give you the details. A little bit better because you're giving them a prompt, but I would just be more like, hey, we're starting a new program. We're looking for 5 people who want to drop 20 pounds or more. Would you be interested in that? And now I'm prompting a reply and I'm prompting let's have a conversation, right? And sometimes it's a straight offer. I say the best 2 to alternate between is offers with urgency, like a program as a start date. Do you want to have more details, right? I'm not going to give you more details. I'm going to give you some vagueness, right? But just enough for you to get a little hook in your mouth. The second is still continuing with discovery questions. Maybe you ran them through that 5 by 2 and they didn't reply to 1. You still are in the dark about them as a person. So this is sending out more like, hey, I was just talking with a client and I asked them, what do you struggle with more, fitness or nutrition? They said nutrition. I'm curious, what do you struggle with more? Like that's a good discovery question to send out to your database. And people are going to reply nutrition, workouts, accountability. This is all entry points for you to start having conversations with people already in your database. That's why I call it the database dynamite, because we pick work scripts that like will prompt like 1-word replies, but you're going to get tons of them. And that's that big explosion. And it's going to keep whoever's on top of lead nurture very busy, which is what our job is to create noise for them and create responses and create opportunities. So that's the database dynamite. And again, just alternate between offers and with some sort of urgency, and then just open-ended discovery questions to get them to just open up and talk to you and drip that throughout the whole month. Right?
And these examples that you mentioned are great because if you see like, oh, here's the offer, special offer, boom, couple weeks challenge, sign up, right? Yep. Versus another one, hey, I'm doing something special for 5 people that I'm putting my effort to help them lose 20 pounds. Are you in? So ask yourself, if you're sending this message one-on-one to your best friend who's 20 pounds overweight, which one would you send? First one that's massive, cold, like embarrassing, or the second one, like, hey, I'm doing something, I want to help you out. Would you like to participate? Yes. If you think always that the campaign is about sending one-on-one message from you to your best buddy, and then do that at scale, you'll get a much better response because people will feel it. Are they part of the transaction or direct intentional invite?
Yes, absolutely.
And how often would you recommend people? How many messages to send to the database? How often and so on?
Yeah, I usually do one email, one text a month if you want to do like the minimum. But if not, I like doing once a week email and 2 texts if you can handle doing more. But usually what the owner struggles with is like continuing to be creative and think of things to send to them, and at that volume, right? So this is, again, trying to pick a cadence you can stick with. The same consistency talk we give to our clients in the gym. They'll hear what another owner's doing, and they're doing a huge amount of outbound, and they're like, I can't match that. It's like, well, then don't. Send 1 email a week, right? Send 1 email a month. But right now you're sending 0. So we need to get a leg up on that and slowly add more over time, right?
That's right. Because time will come, even if small percentages of people respond to that message is being delivered. The fact they're not responding, that doesn't mean campaign is not working.
Yes.
Right? Because people are triggered. There's something called trigger. They're like, oh my God, yes, I need to do this. Yes, I need to do this. And at one point of time, they're getting enough. It's like, okay, boom, let's do it.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll move on to the third pillar. So that is what I call the double dip. So this is named after the Seinfeld episode. Everyone's seen that, where they're talking about double dipping the chip. But basically, it was like, hey, you dip the chip and you take a bite, don't go back and double dip because you got your mouth bacteria all over it. So it was just a funny scene. But this is a positive double dip. I'm trying to double dip on sales. And that really comes down to a referral. So what that means is now I've done this 5x2, I've done this database Dynamite. Someone's on the phone with me, they're buying. The biggest travesty is to just have them come in alone. The best thing you could do is get them to have a buddy join with them on day one. A lot of magical things happen. They are going to have less social anxiety because there's a familiar face there with them on day one, right? So they work out with their spouse, a sister, a brother, a coworker. The second is they'll become accountability buddies now, and they'll hold each other accountable to go and work out. And then the third is you now have like a fitness friend that you can lean on when maybe all your friends are not into fitness. You know that I can hang with this person. They'll go eat healthy foods with me. They won't pressure me to eat a bunch of crap because they signed up to go with me to the gym. So the easiest way to do it is to give a very clear, specific ask. You know, a lot of people will just say a very general referral pitch, which is like, do you know anybody else who wants to join this program? And that's fine. It's better than not asking. By the way, our data shows about 3 out of 10 people will refer you someone's, and that's just free sales. And that's why I get hyped up, because owners are missing out on it. Because the reason is they're just like, they don't want to be quote unquote mentally thinking of themselves as greedy. I got the sale, just be happy. Don't be greedy. Don't ask for more sales. But I actually say that's your ego getting in the way, that you're thinking about what the person's going to think of you. Where you need to smash your ego is you have real attachment to your mission, which is to help as many people get healthy and fit, no matter what it takes. Even if it's uncomfortable asking of a question, I am here to get my community more healthy and fit. That uncomfortableness should not stop you, right? If you're really mission driven. So the way that I like to ask it is I like to ask, hey, we all got a friend or family member who's trying to get healthy or fit, and they've spent an absurd amount of money on fitness programs or products. Maybe they got a bunch of recipe books laying around. They got a treadmills collecting dust. You know, they've been on a million apps, and they keep bringing it up with you. You keep hearing that they want to do something about their weight and they haven't found the thing. I want you to picture that person in your mind. I would love to have them come in as a guest with you. And in fact, I'll give it to them half off. And sometimes you can even do free if you want to. The only thing is they have to come with you on day one and do this with you. Who is that person in your life? And what I'm trying to do is be very more detailed with my asks, because I'm buying them time to process what I'm saying. I just quickly say, who else do you know wants to do this program with you? Like, I didn't have time to think, and you're putting me on the spotlight. So they'll just bail. They say, I don't know anybody. Sorry, I don't. but I'm actually trying to be a little wordy because I'm trying to let their brain process while I keep adding more color to the picture, right? Who has the treadmills collecting dust? Who has the recipe books? Who's on all the apps? And then they're like, oh my God, you're totally describing my cousin, Sarah. I got to get her over here with me. And so then you make it easy with an irresistible offer. By the way, she can join you in this program for free. That's my hookup to you. We're doing buy one, get one. Or she can get it half off. Who is that? And just give me her email and I'll send a reach out, or give me her phone number and I'll tell her about the good news. Right?
Make it easy for them.
Yep.
And do a memory jogger. So you give them ideas who their brain will look for, and give them a time to fill this list in. I had a event last month, Top Rated Academy, and David Possum was there. He's award-winning speaker, literally. He did a topic on 50 referrals per month.
Nice.
He broke down really process. I'm encouraging everybody to go and watch the recording. It's only 15 minutes. Well worth doing it. Master of his own process. But when he calls people, he says, listen, this person was given only 6 opportunities and you're one of the 6. So that means you mean a lot to this person in his world.
Nice.
Right? He wants you to get this opportunity and this offer. Right? So he thought about you. So you are giving credibility to the person who is referring your clients. Like, oh, that's so powerful. Yeah. And when you think about offers and referrals, Referrizer, my company, is all about Referrizer Maximizer, right? But I also look to see what companies are doing. EOS gives a year of free membership when you refer friends. Gem Gold, as Gold's Gem, is 3 years of free membership when you refer 3 friends. They calculated how much it cost me to acquire a member. If this guy stays for a long time, I'm going to give 1 membership every 3 new people coming in. So it's costing me 25%. And I have loyalty, connection, accountability, retention, all of that in one place. Right? And people are going to go out of their way to bring their friends. Yes. Period.
Love it.
So guys, this third pillar, double dip down on referrals, is it's like add 30% out of the thin air, at least.
Exactly. Yes.
At least.
And it really comes down to how good you get at it. Like, so we all think about priming ourselves for the price objection, the spouse objection, the time objection. Well, I say, are you prepared for the referral objection? Right. And so it's like, how good are you at it? Because I've seen owners get up to 50% referral, because everybody knows one person that's trying to get more healthy and fit. I would really challenge you to say, who in your life do you know that has no friends that are trying to get healthy and fit? It's one of the top desires of humans, right? So like that's an easy thing. You have a very high success rate with that. So I'll go to the 4th pillar. So this is a way to get past members to come back. Like we sometimes forget about these people, and they're the easiest sale because they know where you are, your location, they know your prices, they know you and your team. They have the highest, amount of knowledge of your business. It's way easier to resell an old customer than try to get a cold new person to trust you, And so I ask owners, how often do you reach out to past members? And more often than not, they're like, I haven't anytime recently. It's sometimes years. I'm like, oh my God, I'm terribly sorry. You've got so much money you've left on the table. So I developed a program called the VIP program. And basically you're rolling the red carpet out to this person to come back, and you're just giving them 50% off their first month to reactivate membership. You don't really have to do a trial. You don't have to do an appointment with this person. You can skip right into membership activation with this person because they were on membership, right? There's a slower nurturing up of a cold person. Maybe we got to give them a trial experience. Then we got to get them to take the big decision, which is membership. This person already went through that process. They can go right back to it. And that is a great EFT/MRR infusion for you, is you can get instant monthly recurring revenue added to your business by calling these people. So we just say, hey, secret deal for you, don't tell anybody, little secret shopper. I want you to come back. I want to give you the VIP experience, but all I want from you is I want you to give me feedback on our program. And in exchange, I'm going to give you 50% off. So it's kind of like a secret shopper program. And I'm going to send you a survey at the end of 30 days, and you could do form or you can sit down and interview them. I like the interview process better, but you're like, hey, who is the coach you worked with the most? Rate them on a 1 to 10. How have your results been like over the last 30 days? Give us a 1 to 10. What's the facility cleanliness like 1 to 10? How did you like the workout variety? So it's a true feedback survey. It's no BS. And you're like, I trust you because you were a member here before. And now they've given
how
you
things
feedback.
Changed from before, how it's now.
And
oh my God, that's so brilliant, brother. Yep. So instead of just giving them, one time off, a sense of urgency, 5 available, 50%, client appreciation. No, you're saying, listen, I thought about you, right? Yes. We missed you, but I also want to do something for you, right? What about if we make a deal? You come back, I give you half off, but in exchange, you just give me 2-minute survey. Yes. So they earn it. They feel like, okay, I got something. I earned it. It's not promo, right? We value your feedback. We change certain things, but we want to get your feedback. Plus, you're getting feedback for free. I mean, yes. You will do 50% anyway. That's why I say it for free, because you got valuable data with somebody who left you for one of these reasons that's in your survey. Most likely.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So, that's cool. That's new.
Win-win for you. Like, it's win all around. They get 50% off. You get amazing, raw, honest feedback from people you trust.
And they'll pay attention to these details. Yeah. And they will feel like, okay, I'm part of the business now. I'm contributing. I'm changing this. These guys are listening. Prior to this, they didn't even listen. Now they got to their mind like, okay, they're listening.
Yes.
They care.
And it's a unique offer. You brought up earlier the 6 human needs. It makes them feel significant. Like, I'm not just pitching you and selling you a program. I need you to come and shop my business and give me feedback. I trust you. Will you do this important task? Significance is now built into it, right? Like,
and follow up. What do you do with that feedback? Imagine you'll discover certain things that you improve. So your business gets better just by knowing what's going on. Honest, earned feedback. They're not going to give middle choices just because they'll give a right choice because they pay for it or they earned it. Yep. Such a cool thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something where, you could blast it out, but I found this is one where, like, we're quick to sometimes delegate. And I'll even tell people who hire our remote sales reps, I'm like, you actually are the best person to ask members for referral and call past members because you have FaceTime with them. Our team's good for cold leads that have never met anyone at your company, so they don't know who's who. But like this, our team can do it, but you're going to see a way higher success rate if you personally call these people. And this is a high ROI activity for an owner. They tell me they want their MRR to go up. I'm like, okay, you ready to hit the phones and call 100 past members? And then we find out if they're really ready to go and grow their business or they don't. So, yeah.
So let's summarize for these people as I got, and you correct me if I'm wrong. We got 4 pillars: follow up, mastery system, where first one is new leads, right? Incredible schedule, cadence, every day, multiple channels, going out in different sequence, but incredibly fast follow up after the first engagement. You combined call, email, text. Then you mastered it. You squeezed out most out of the leads. Second, it's database dynamite, right? You have a database, boom, such a huge opportunity to engage these people, but not engage with just a random, here's the offer, come back, sense of urgency. No, you end with a question, something triggering, something that starts conversation, right? If it doesn't end up with a question, it's not good. You give job to your follow-up teammates to now have conversation follow-up, and comes up with a deep understanding question. That's also part of the first one, 7 understanding question. Like, you don't start selling until you start understanding, right? Too quick to sell. And then you have double dip, holy smoke. Like, everything can be amplified. You put your turbo engine of your gasoline car, and like with these referrals, guys, if you can get it to 50%, this is 1 + 1 = 3, guys.
Absolutely.
That's where the game starts. That's the difference between suffering and thriving businesses. Same money in, twice the output out. Because that referral is coming also with referral. Like, this doesn't end there. And then the last one is, you already mastered 3. Last one is past members. I love this. We talk about win back as well. Easily. I don't know about your percentages, but I call it customers on demand. Literally, you plug the campaign. There's no way if you do this right that you cannot reactivate people coming back, period. It's such a predictable results. You have 1,000 people in the database who went through your gym. You can bring 40 of them back. Boom, almost on demand. Craft it, draft it, put the right message in. It's incredible. It's like filling up the gaps in slow period on the wish. Guys, you were here for the charm, for some incredible knowledge, and I'm pleased how you easily structured this. This is so freaking
I mean,
cool.
it wasn't easy. It was definitely 3 years of trial and error, but if an
Easy sounds for us now to understand it. Yeah. But yes, it's decades of experimentation and changes. And by the way, it's changing as we speak because technology is changing.
Absolutely. Business, everything.
Wow. Dustin, as we are coming close to the wrapping up the episode, I have a quick question for you to ask for audience. And this is like whatever first comes onto your mind, you just speak up, right? You acquire a lot of knowledge. And I want you to tell us what is the resource people can go after now to learn about. Like, what's the book, podcast, conference, some places. Tell us about your book as well. What's the resource you recommend people to learn about follow-up system or in sales in general?
Yeah, I have a book and a podcast with the same name, which is Reinforce Your Gym. And, it's on Amazon, so the easy place to get it. So you'll find it there. And the podcast is easy to find too. So that is that. But in terms of like other resources, like, the part that I always struggle is I don't know what the person's, struggling with. So I'm probably going to keep it within the realm of this topic today, and that's lead nurturing sales. There's a little hidden gem a lot of people haven't heard about called The Mindset of a Sales Warrior. And I have all my salespeople read it, and it goes from like the way of thinking, mindset frameworks, to like what a day, a strong structured day looks like for a sales rep. And then just like kind of things that I brought up, little hidden areas that you can find some more sales. So I think it's beautiful. One of those gems that doesn't get enough praise.
Love it, guys. Listen, this is the resource place where you go. Check the podcast. Go check the book. What I like about the book is because people spend decades of experimentation, research, trials and error, and really their lifetime work to squeeze out something they can digest or listen in a couple hours. And there's absolutely no direct proportion of what you pay for that book to what values you got. Okay. And the other book, you just pass it on. And when you pass it on, you don't pay it again. It's kind of, I don't know, a legal way to cheat knowledge sharing. Do it. And I'll take on both advices. Now, Dustin, this was incredible. Now people are asking, like, how do I find more information about Dustin? Like, Dustin didn't want to put you on the spot, but people are already getting to figure out that you're successful in what you're doing, but you also have a way to help people directly succeed in their businesses. So, what's the best way for somebody to reach out to you? After the podcast?
GymReinforcements.com, simple as that. We're pretty open about what we do. We're a digital marketing service. I know you guys probably get inboxed by a million different agencies. I think the only thing I could say that separates us is that I'm a gym owner, 4 gym owners running my agency. So I got that insight that a lot of other agencies don't have. And then we also provide remote sales reps to do the lead nurture. If you're like, hey, I love that you're making it rain leads, but I don't like having to deal with all this lead nurture mess. What's your solution there? That ends up being the next problem that we want to work with them to solve. So some owners call us for one service, some call us for both. We're happy to help you in any way, that we can. So that'd be it, GymReinforcements.com.
You guys know what to do. Go check it out. Pause this video, pull over, do what you need to do. Check it out. I want to say thank you so much, Dustin, for taking the time today to share your incredible insights with everybody. Your journey, expertise, and the value you provided are truly inspiring. Inspiring for me, and I hope for people listening there. I'm sure our listeners learned a ton from your wisdom, especially when it comes to sales, marketing, scaling, and in the fitness business. It's been an absolute pleasure having you at the Top Rated Gym podcast, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the great things you'll continue to accomplish. Thanks again for being here, and I can't wait for our audience to hear your story. And for you guys who are listening to this, you know what to do. Click, subscribe, share, and send this video to somebody who you think can be a great listener and somebody who has a challenge in their sales process. And just you will do them a favor. And they will thank you for doing this. For everybody signing off, thank you guys for being part of this community. And thank you, Dustin, for your contribution today.
Thank you, Andre.
If you are a gym owner looking to become a top-rated gym in your area, visit topratedgym.com and grab our free 30-day reputation boost. That's topratedgym.com. I'll add it to the show notes for you. Don't forget to share this with your friends. stay strong, stay motivated, and keep pushing your gym to the top. Until next time, this is Andre signing off.